The line at the supermarket was ordinary. Just another afternoon filled with chatter and the soft beeps of groceries being scanned, until the man in the tailored suit reached the register and silence fell. His sleek black card was swiped once, then again, before the screen flashed a single shocking word. Asterisk declined, asterisk for a heartbeat. The world seemed to stop. Shoppers behind him smirked, whispers rippled through the aisles, and the cashier burst into loud, merciless laughter. The man's eyes dropped to the floor, his jaw tightened, and beside him, a little girl tugged at his hand, her wide eyes full of worry. No one knew who he was or that he was Alexander Grant, a billionaire who had built an empire through steel, construction, and determination. He had stood in glass towers, spoken in boardrooms among the nation's elite, and seen his name etched across skyscrapers in New York and beyond. But none of that mattered here. In this small-town grocery store, stripped of his power and pride, he was just another man whose card had failed. It wasn't a banking error or fraud. It was fate's quiet lesson disguised as humiliation. For years, Alexander had been blind to the quiet struggles of ordinary people, and now he stood exposed before them. The cashier laughed again, louder this time, while onlookers leaned in to watch, amused by the mighty man brought low. The little girl at his side, no older than 7, wearing a faded purple shirt and worn braids, looked from the groceries on the belt to the crowd, her small heart breaking. She didn't see a fallen billionaire. She saw a man crushed by shame. Then, as if moved by something pure and divine, she reached into her pocket and pulled out 3 crumpled dollar bills and a few coins, the kind of change a child saves from allowance or finds under couch cushions, and slowly extended her trembling hand toward the cashier. The store went silent again, but this time it was not out of mockery. It was awe. Whispers stopped. Laughter died on lips. Everyone watched as the little girl placed her small handful of coins on the counter, her trembling voice barely above a whisper as she told the cashier to take it. She wanted to help pay for the stranger's groceries. The store fell still. Alexander Grant, the billionaire who had once signed checks larger than most families earned in a year, stood frozen in disbelief. For the first time in decades, his hardened heart felt something he had long forgotten: humility. His chest tightened, and his eyes burned with tears he fought to contain. This child with nothing had given him everything: dignity, compassion, and a reminder of what true wealth meant. The atmosphere in the store shifted. The laughter that had mocked him moments ago turned into murmurs of shame. Some lowered their heads, embarrassed that they had ridiculed a man in pain while a child had shown the courage to be kind. The cashier's grin faded into guilt, her laughter dying on her lips. Alexander, who could buy anything, realized he had just been given something priceless. As the groceries were packed, he knelt beside the little girl, his voice breaking as he thanked her. She didn't know who he was, didn't care about the skyscrapers bearing his name, and had no idea she had just changed his life. To her, he was simply a man in need, and kindness demanded action. She smiled softly, unaware that her small gesture would alter the course of his future. When they left the store, Alexander didn't return to his limousine. Instead, he walked the little girl home, curious about the world she came from. Her house was small, the paint peeling, the porch sagging, but it radiated warmth. Inside, her mother worked tirelessly, folding clothes beside a simmering pot, managing life's struggles with quiet strength. She welcomed him kindly, without judgment. That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. The image of the girl offering her last coins replayed in his mind. For years, he had measured wealth by numbers and possessions, but now he understood that real wealth lived in kindness, in giving when you have little, in seeing humanity where others see weakness. By morning, he had made his decision. Weeks later, headlines across the country told the story. Alexander Grant, the ruthless billionaire, had launched a massive foundation to help struggling families. Grocery bills were being paid anonymously. Homes were repaired. Scholarships were granted to children who never dreamed of college. But beyond the money, Alexander himself was there, walking grocery aisles, visiting homes, listening to stories he once ignored. And at the heart of it all was a little girl in a purple shirt, the same child who had once placed 3 crumpled bills on a counter and, without knowing it, taught a billionaire the meaning of true wealth. Though Alexander made sure the little girl and her family never wanted for anything again, he didn't parade her kindness as charity. He protected it, nurtured it, and honored it by filling her life with opportunity, love, and dignity. Years later, when people spoke of Alexander Grant, they didn't mention his skyscrapers or his billions. They spoke of the day his card declined and a child's compassion changed his heart. That became his true legacy, written not in steel or money but in empathy and grace. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness can change the world. And before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Would you have done what the little girl did that day? Drop your answer in the comments. This story reminds us that true wealth isn't measured by the balance of a bank account or the shine of a credit card. It's measured by the courage to show kindness when no one else will, by the strength to lift others when they've fallen, and by the ability to see hope in the most unexpected places. That little girl, with nothing in her pockets but everything in her heart, changed the life of a man who once had it all. She proved that compassion has no price tag and that sometimes the smallest voices teach the loudest lessons. If this story moved you, don't let it stay as words on a screen. Carry it into your life, your family, your choices. Be the one who gives when giving seems impossible, who believes in goodness when the world feels cold, and who reminds others that humanity still shines brightest in simple acts of love. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner so that its message of hope can reach even more hearts.